All right. Just want to put this out there for the blacks who are still betting that the Democrats are going to be on your side or something like the Republicans be racist and all that, whatever. Um, okay, so now I really want you to think hard about this one. Don't just drop some stupid shit in the comments. This is once in this is once in a nation's existence. Do you trust the FBI? Do you like the FBI? Because right now, the FBI seems to be protecting Barack Obama, and it looks like Barack Obama was trying to get into the like $1 million per ounce uranium game. It looks like him and Clinton were trying to get into the uranium game. And that they were going, so they were cash for clunkers. A bunch of those cars ended up in West Africa. You remember that Where Are Our Girls and Boko Haram and all that? Well, it turns out like some of the Obama family has ties to the political end of all that shit. So you see these military guys and you see all these African women and the African military guys and why do you kidnap these beautiful little girls? Or why would you do something like that? We need to do something about Africa. Well, no, Obama was doing something to Africa. And we barely sorted it out. People who are really looking into this, they can barely sort out how fucked the African end of all this got. Because there's something having to do with Iran, Hezbollah, cash for clunkers, and cocaine cartels in Mexico. That the Fast and Furious, the gun thing with Eric Holder, that wasn't only guns. That was just the beginning of it all. So now the FBI is trying to cover this up. Now I know there's probably pro-blacks who are right now going, exactly, see, and conspiracy, But what I want really understood here is the Republican Party. These people are afraid for their fucking lives fighting the FBI. These people are spending a fortune fighting the FBI right now. I know this might be just fucking with your world. You might be like, "Oh, fuck that. No, fuck no." Do you think disclosing all this shit about all the lawsuits, just give us the emails that are public documents. We hired these people. They sent each other emails. I'm sorry, we're their employers. Show us their fucking emails. And the fucking FBI is like, you know what I'm saying though, and they're pulling that. They're pulling some. No, homie, you can't see. Let me, you don't understand, son. They're pulling some hustler shit now. Now think about this. Now you might be like, well, it's the FBI. They've always been doing us wrong. So don't you want revenge? This is where finally your normal black ass. You're a normal person. If you wouldn't be a pro-black if you were like some Air Force, Navy SEAL ass motherfucker. That shit, you wouldn't be some political weirdo. You wouldn't be running on some crazy shit. Looking silly. Talking about flying the pyramids. Resenting, knowing we was Kangs, knowing all the context of that, and being mad as hell when people say shit like that. You wouldn't have to, see, because you'd be a dope motherfucker. You'd be a former Navy SEAL. You'd be a former Marine. You finally have the opportunity. You can actually be on the same side as all the normal white folks. that just they don't know. They don't know what's happening in the hood. How could they? They've got their own fucking problems. They're trying to keep their kid, they're trying to keep their daughter off the pole, and they're trying to keep their son off the pipe. Right? Because that's America. The pole and the pipe are always waiting. Aren't they? You know the score. And who's made this more normal? Apparently a whole class of people that are in cahoots with these motherfuckers saying that the president was like hanging out with Vladimir Putin, no goddamn proof for this. When the proof is asked for, they're like, oh, homie, you see, but you know what I'm saying. And that they seem to have a posse of people who are called journalists, who are just making shit up. Where is Barack Obama, by the way? Like, where in the world is Barack Obama today? Is he talking to this dictator or that dictator? Is he landing ahead of Trump to salt the game and to put salt in the soup? Or is he hanging out having another vacation? How rich did he get? How hard do you work with your back, brother man? Have you ever seen what Barack Obama looks like in a t-shirt? Have you ever seen him shirtless? It's not a good scene. Not a sexy scene. Michelle's better built than him. Come on now. Just saying, you know. Not implying anything. Just saying. You could get your revenge. And also, you really should, just for the hell of it. And this I think a lot of you pro-blacks, you'll like this part of this. This is an amazing crime story. I mean, this is amazing. You need to get hip to this. You will never believe. You'll be sitting there like, God damn, this is like 3 crime movies smashed together and put in an episode of Law and Order. I mean, this is double. This is Law and Order plus The Wire squared. This is coke, terrorists, uranium, children, and don't you want to get the hose off the corner? Don't you want it to become too damn difficult to find cocaine to sell? I mean, really? Wouldn't it be nice if it just simply was impossible to sell heroin? I mean, there might be somebody who would buy it. You would have to go looking for them. And also, it's just, this shit is just so goddamn expensive. It's so goddamn hard to find. Don't you want that? You might be able to have some of these things. If there was concealed carry nationwide, you really think white people would just start blowing away black people? Where in the world do you get this idea? In what universe does that actually make sense? That you drive through all white parts of this country and you really think these people have a penchant for gun violence? That they're just hiding it. They're hiding it. Really? That makes sense to you? It's time to wake up and deal with reality. The FBI might actually have to be completely disbanded and reformed. The second Trump administration, which is going to be so, Kamala Harris, it's not happening. Don't worry, it's not happening. Do not hang your hopes on that. Whatever you do, don't make yourself look that fucking stupid. Don't let them play you by biting for Kamala Harris. Oh my God. When you all discover what a fucking loser that bitch is, Class A loser. Class A loser. you could see justice within your lifetime. You could see the FBI, and because once this starts rolling, people want to know. You see, this is the thing. Actually, I'm not mentioning this. There's people have talked about this. They said, do we understand the ramifications of this? We have now had within the last like 3 years. This goes all the way back to like Timothy McVeigh, and then before then, we have all this ample evidence that the FBI sort of sets up patsies. Like there's some organization that finds patsies and sets them up. Like they do not in almost any way seem to be some kind of actual police organization. They're like sort of like there's a bunch of people who are actual police and they really do a good job. And really there are some things the FBI does that actually that seriously that we just don't you could find out about, but nobody talks about when they really pull something off that's good. When they round up real dangerous people like that, I mean, like that you genuinely. It doesn't matter if they look like you or your cousin, your kith and your kin. You don't want people like this around your. They don't. You don't want these people around your mama, your mom. You don't want these people around your mother. Just go there because that's easy. That's easy apparently for black people to understand. You could have justice, but you're going to have to get over some things. And now you're going to be, and this will be ugly. This will be a real. This is going to be ugly if the FBI gets taken apart, which only will happen if there is some massive sea change, and that might be you. If it gets taken apart, if the entire apparatus of investigation and justice in this country has to get reanalyzed, do you understand that if these people had the capacity to take down a president with all kinds of phony bullshit and the help of journalists, and then the help of international non-governmental organizations, all to cover up the recreation of an African slave market in Libya, the complete destabilization of West Africa, the slaughter of African Christians by African Muslims. Then, on top of it, apparently, possibly, again, where people are just selling African Muslim women, different factions of Muslims, helping a communist party that's about to commit a genocide in South Africa. And don't worry, they won't stop at the white people. They don't understand the history of South Africa, so don't worry. No. There's other kinds of people there that are not white nor the African. They're a bit of both and more. And don't worry, these people are terrified. And nobody cares about them. Except for people who are similar like me. You could have justice if you want it. But you're going to have to yield to the fact that maybe a whole bunch of the ideas you have about your white neighbors, about the history of this country, about who really holds power, maybe a lot of the shit you thought was just kind of wrong, inaccurate. You want to feel good about yourself. And you'll do anything to do so, no matter how you twist reality around your ideals. It's now time to grow the fuck up and understand your ideals are going to have to be built around reality. And what the reality is, it's looking like the FBI has been covering up something that's going to make the whole world cry. But only if we can expose it. And the right wing can only do so much. That is why the image of the handshake. That's what binds men. I don't have to like you. I don't have to. We don't have to marry each other's daughters off or anything. No. Between men, we could have this agreement for the sake of the Republic. And you could have your land and property, and I could have mine. You could have concealed carry, and you will have peace in your neighborhoods. As all the crazy niggas start realizing everybody's packing. You can have property if you take wealth away from the federal government. That is where people, oh, there's no such thing as trickle down. Where do you think all the money is? You're not stupid. You get this. Where do you think all that money's at? Who collects the money? Federal government. Who just puts it in thing and it drops it and it bursts into flames? Federal government. You can have justice, but at some point you're going to just have to have a mature sense of how power must be used. You want peace. You need those markets open. Every pot needs a chicken in it. I want the chicken from a pot. And a world of gunfire, a world of Detroit, a world of Baltimore, that can't, no. The world cannot become Rio de Janeiro. I don't know if you really understand what Brazil is like, especially right now with Venezuelans having to literally walk in starving into Brazil. They're closing their borders. You think that that wasn't Trump's only been around so long. How'd that happen? Who had 2 terms to make sure that didn't happen? Gonna have to have a mature sense about this now, because the time's done for all this bullshit from the 60s and 70s. Revolution has come, time to pick up the gun, all this aim at afro and fists in the air, and now you got these stupid motherfuckers. A slightly homosexual looking ass, like, it doesn't have no abs, doesn't have no arms, doesn't have no shoulders. Gambino, childish Gambino, fucking nigger faggot. So, wake up. You want a future? Look up how many black people are being born every year. Look at the rate of black people dying. Look at the rate of black people being born. I just got the article. I'm right. 15% will not be reached by 2025. I'm right. Do you want... Is that the world you want? Where your people vanish? Because you have too much fucking pride and you will not stop believing in the Democrats and some black communist shit? Where it was all the white people gotta do is wait. All they gotta do is make sure the federal government keeps collecting less taxes, and all they gotta do is wait. Motherfuckers, you'll vanish. So you're going to have to grow up. Wu-Tang Clan's over. Pick up a goddamn guitar or a horn. Put down the fucking microphone. Motherfuckers don't even scratch. Holy crap. Black people don't even scratch anymore. So this is done. The time of all that 60 shit is done. It's over. And now you're left with a dwindling population. Madness within the intelligentsia of your community. Where they're doing Maoist chants. Are they doing their homework? No. Are they chanting like Maoist idiots? Are they the laughing stock or white people, white races just sitting back, not even attending college, sitting back, educating themselves, going to online schools, and sitting there on forums? Look at these stupid nigger faggots yell all this dumb commie shit. Now, you might want to flag this video because of what I just said, but really it's because it hurt your feelings because you know it's fucking true. Grow up. You can have revenge. You could have justice. You could be a part of a reshaping of the Republic. Look up Article 5 of the Constitution, the Convention of the States. You can have it. You can have victory. There is no complete victory because time keeps going, but you could have a small one. And it will matter 20 years from now. It will matter 30 years from now. But this idea like we're going to make the police do this and we're going to make the police do that. What? Sell the rocks, don't smoke them. Or better yet, chuck the rocks in the fucking sewer, turn your back on all of that shit, and grow the fuck up. Because at some point, this is inevitable. And here's really what you need to worry about. What if there's smart black people who just keep manipulating you? And it just keeps going like this forever. Your grandkids will be like, oh yes, in the grand tradition of the drive-by shooting, it'll be like a ritual. They'll like dance around with like toy machine guns. You know, every kid will know the machine gun dance, the pepper spray dance. Every child is raised knowing how to shoot from the womb. Because you know you're gonna run out of people you're gonna run out of young men to shoot each other. What are the girls gonna have to start bucking each other down all the time now? And how long do you think this is? I mean, what do you think? They'll just move away from you. They're already. White people can't keep the malls open. They don't want to go there, and you all keep destroying them. Leave it in the fucking comments. I don't care. There's whole channels. There's people who literally all they've got are pictures of black people rioting in malls, and that. It's always youths. Oh, these youths were getting crazy. Oh, I seen white people do that shit. Right, yeah. Great, yeah. Excellent. Nobody gives a fuck. And it doesn't matter. 15% of the population by 2025 isn't happening. It's not. This isn't Schadenfreude. I have to stay in a certain state of mind because this makes me want to fucking cry. So grow the fuck up. You can have the victory. You can have a victory. You can have some taste of victory. Within one lifetime, you get to see people who are like, I'm telling you, the FBI did this, and they did that to this person, and blah, 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 and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, blah, blah. You can take these people down. You can find out what they did. Because after all of it, it'll all become declassified. It'll all get published. We'll all sit back, and it will be a bitter time. And we'll look back on our parents and grandparents, and we'll say, how could you have allowed this? But they didn't have the internet. These were anecdotes that they were being told. These are newspaper stories that end up on almost the last page of the newspaper, that something about this or that crime didn't make sense. Something later when we investigated the death of Malcolm X, blah, blah, blah. And then actually the odd thing about the men that were interviewed by the police is And, as time goes on, all of this will come out. But you can't keep thinking that all this Sonnetter, Afro-mysticism, Brother Polite stuff, you're going to have to anchor yourself in reality for a few minutes and deal with what is coming out about the FBI and that we are seeing a coup d'etat against Donald Trump. Now, here's something that I keep bringing it up. Nobody fucking believes me. When Obama said the thing about the red line in Syria, the Marines rebelled. They said they wouldn't be taxi drivers for ISIS. This was a huge thing across Twitter. I have found nobody but only veterans on the right wing. Now and then some alt-righter or some libertarian or some just sort of rando with a rando name will say, oh, I remember that. Yeah, all the Marines were holding up these pictures in front of their face so you couldn't see who they were, but you could see this is a person in dress blues. And that the Obama administration had to nix it. This got too many people. This was attracting the interest of too many people. Wait a second. From what we know, it wasn't. Everything says that it wasn't Assad who actually did this. And then on top of it, the Russians were doubled down on it wasn't Assad, and China publicly said we don't like what America is doing in Syria right now. This is years ago. So this is the thing: is you aren't living in some country that's really hostile to your interests. You have been fooled. You have been taken, and it's mostly you're gonna slowly find out there's commies and Islamists, just like in Iran, just like in a lot of the African countries. It was racial African communists who opposed the colonials, these colonials who brought modern farming so that there's oodles and oodles of Africans because they could eat because there was modern farming. They had cities with electricity and rail because of these colonials who were making it a stop for people internationally because Africa has a smooth shoreline. It has no deep water ports. You have to park your boats offshore. I know that look it up. Europe can fit into Africa like 6 times, 7 times, but it has like double the shoreline. That shouldn't make sense. Look it the fuck up. So Africa has some key issues that when we look at this now, we're seeing that the black president destabilized the entire Muslim world in a way that is unconscionable, and what he did to Africa is unforgettable. And really there's going to be a lot of people who in the long run they will say unforgivable. There could have been more done to stabilize the economies of Africa, but Obama didn't want to do that. He didn't give a shit. And it was real convenient for the EU to sort of lock down the European people as all these Africans have stormed Europe. What do you think these people are going to fucking do logically in another 40 years about all this? What do you think's going to come logically to them? As thousands upon thousands of these people arrive, and they can't do anything because they came from some of the poorest nations in the fucking world, and that they didn't even any longer couldn't even grow the crops to feed themselves. What the fuck do you think these people are going to do about this problem? Because at some point it's going to be logic. It's just going to be a logical thing. What do you think they're going to do? Oh, look, you are here. I can identify you, and you are fucking up my world. And me and the rest of us, we still have arms and armed forces, and you are in our borders. What do you think they're going to do? Niggas walk through your hood all the time, and you know them right away, and they look like your kith and kin. So, it's time to start growing up. And it's about power. It's about national interests. Here's something that white liberals don't believe in this. It's about national honor. Nations have honor. You get that. You have to have pride, and that there's a certain, and therefore you must have some sense of honor. So, that's that. Yeah. That's at some point you're going to have to get with the present time, leave the fucking 90s and early 2000s behind, and you're going to have to start realizing some things, that you are being manipulated by the artist class, and a lot of straight up for a lot of real, the kind of real, these real black nationalist types. Does that fucking Childish Gambino guy, when the revolution comes, do you think he's going to be able to fight his way out of a wet sack? He looks like a wet sack. Alright, late.